Hello and welcome to One Called Mama. I am your host, Sam, and I am so thankful that you decided to join me today. So, as a mom, you spend most of your life, or at least I did, dreaming of what it would be like to build your family. You imagine yourself having kids and what it's going to be like to be pregnant and to have a baby. And, you go through all the stages of that and the excitement, the fear, the overwhelm. Your babies are here and you love them. They drive you crazy, and at the same time, you don't want them to be away from you. You know they're going to go to the grandparents' house and spend the whole day, and you cry when you drop them off, even though you're looking forward to an entire day of just being able to do whatever it is you need to do. That may or may not have happened to me today. You spend the majority of your life dreaming of what it's going to be like to have your kids and to raise a family and what that's going to look like, what it's going to feel like. And then you're in it and you're living it, and your babies are here, they're growing up right before your eyes, and you feel like you can't catch a breath, like that it happened so fast. Where did the time go? Why are they getting so big so quickly? Why do all of these beautiful clothes don't fit them anymore? How is it that they're learning at such a fast rate, and now they can write, and now they're starting to read, and they're talking to you in a way that they've never talked to you before? Maybe it's good, maybe it's not. But you're in the middle of it, and life goes on. And one day, maybe not just one day, but one day you start thinking about, well, is there going to be another one? And most of the time you expect that question from people, right? You hear it a lot. It's like, oh, you had your first one, well, where's the next one? And oh, you've had the second one, are you going to have a third one? And you reach a point where you really stop and think, am I going to have another one? Is that really in the cards for us? Is that feasible? Is that really what I want? And all of this kind of came crashing in on me about a month ago. Maybe it was a month, maybe it was two, maybe it was 2 weeks. My time reality is kind of skewed these days. I have a hard time remembering what I did yesterday. So I'm going to say it was about a month ago. I think it had been building up to this point for a while, but it really hit me that our son could be the last baby that we have. That all of the firsts that a baby has, that he was the last. It was the last time to experience that. It was the last time to be pregnant. It was the last time to give birth. It was the last time to hold a brand new baby in my arms. The last time to go through all the new things with a baby that they learn and they explore and they grow. No one ever really talks about this. No one prepares you for this. When this blindsided me about a month ago, I had absolutely no emotional, mental preparation for how difficult it would be to really accept that our son could be our last baby. And it hit me really, really hard. I didn't want to accept that the way our lives are trending, that the way things are going, that the place that we find ourselves in, that he really could be our last child. And I'm not saying that door is completely closed, because I really don't know. I just know that it doesn't make a lot of sense for us to bring another baby into this world with the way things are. And a lot goes into that decision. It's not just about money. It's about, are we parents who are able to take care of 3 kids emotionally, Can we be there for all three of them and give them the love and the support and the encouragement and the patience and the grace that they need? Can we do that? Can we do that and have a healthy marriage? Can we really fulfill everything we feel that we're supposed to do and have a third? There's a lot that goes into it. We spent 5 years just being married and just enjoying our marriage before we had our first child. There was a season where I really wanted to have a baby and he wasn't ready, and then I thought, well, maybe I don't want to have a baby, and he was kind of like, well, I'm okay still. And there was a lot of back and forth. There was a lot of things that had to happen with us before we were ready to have our first child. And 5 years is a long time to start a family, to start a family. And when we did, we had them very close together. So they're 2 years apart, almost exactly. And I sit here and I think about the cost of having another baby. As much as I do want one, there's a lot that has to start over. Our son he still doesn't talk a whole lot. I'm still figuring out how to wean him. So there's a lot that if we had a third that we would have to do, that it would be a step back in a lot of ways. I don't know how I would manage the podcast and the newsletter now. If I did have another baby, that would be really difficult. Not even, you say, well, you've got 9 months. Yeah, I've got 9 months, but I can get things in order and get things done. But you're still dealing with the pregnancy, the physical toll that it takes on you. There's just a lot to consider. It's not a cut and dry, easy decision to make. And when it hit me, I went into a period of grieving that I was not expecting. I was not, like I said, prepared for. It was very painful. And processing that I had to allow myself the time I needed to really accept and take in that it could be the reality that we don't have any more kids. Now, on the other side of it, now that I've had time to process it, I can see things a little clearer, and I am at peace either way. I would be ecstatic if we got pregnant. And if we didn't, I would be peaceful about it. I would have peace in my heart about it. I know that after a couple of days of, processing and I'm going to call it grieving because it's a piece of your life that you don't have anymore, or that you potentially don't have anymore. It's something that ever since I was a child, I've dreamed about having a big family, lots of kids. I used to want 5 or 6 children. You spend the majority of your life dreaming about that and pursuing that and hoping for it and looking forward to it. And then when you realize that part of your life is maybe coming to an end, it is like you're losing a piece of yourself. It's a piece of yourself that you've never had to do without before, and you're entering a phase of life that you've never even thought about, and that's scary. So I did. I had a few days, maybe it was a few days, maybe it was a week, again, I don't remember, where I was sad. I was in a depressed state. It was weighing heavy on me. And I know that one night I was finally in a place where I think I was putting our son down to bed. I don't know. I know it was just late at night. And I prayed that God would give me a peace about it. And that either way, I would feel peaceful. And I prayed that if another child wasn't in our future, that he would take the desire away from me. It was hard for me to pray that. I didn't want to pray that. And the next day, I woke up and I felt at peace. I felt fine. It was not that the desire was completely gone, but I was able to cope with it. I was able to be okay with the fact that we may never have another child. And it didn't hurt me, and I didn't feel like I was grieving anymore. I felt like that was done. And so here I am sharing this with you because it isn't something that people talk about. It's not something that I hear discussed very often, if at all. I actually was talking about it with my niece just the other day, and how she's thought about that. Whether they would have more kids. And yes, I have a niece that's old enough to have kids, okay? I'm 35, so but it's just, she was talking about it, how it was something, is because they just had their third baby, and it's like, well, is this our last one? And she's having to think about that too. And it's just the reality of that chapter of your life being over. There's a finality to it that is really hard to accept, and it's hard to imagine. It's not a bad thing. It's really not. There's beautiful things that happen, I'm sure, not that I know yet, on the other side of that chapter of my life being over, of my child rearing days being done. I get to watch my children. I get to watch them grow, and I get to watch them learn and flourish, and I get to see them, grow into beautiful, hopefully God-loving, God-fearing people. And that's exciting. That's wonderful. And something to look forward to, something to be joyous about. And I think it's also okay that even though the Lord has blessed me with 2 children, it's okay that it still hurts that I might not have more. So it's okay if even though you have children and you maybe find yourself where I am, it's okay for that to bring about a emotional response in you. It's okay for that to hurt. It's not selfish. It's not wrong. You're not being ungrateful for the children you have. It's just a part of the process. And as long as you are consistently and continually moving forward through the pain, you're not living in it, it's okay. And take your time. Obviously, it's still an emotional topic for me, and that's okay. It's going to be. I desperately love children, and I've loved raising my children. So it's okay. Give yourself grace in this period of time when you find it difficult to see that chapter of your life closing. And I will add this. Our son was incredibly difficult to raise from conception through, in my mind, it's 18 months. I don't know why, maybe around the 18-month mark. It was a very hard pregnancy for me. It was a very difficult birth. He never slept for more than 1.5 to 2 hours, day or night, for the longest time, probably through 18 months. And he still gets up a lot. He still wakes up a lot. He does not sleep that much. He takes good naps. He takes a good 2-hour nap. But again, about 2 hours, he's awake. And that's okay. I've learned to cope. But it was really messy. And our daughter was a very easy child. She slept a lot. She didn't throw tantrums. She didn't have like explosive anger. She was just very easy. Overall, she was a very easy baby. She's a very I don't know. She was just easy for us. And our son has just, he's wonderful. He's just the opposite of her. He gets very angry. He has big emotional outbursts. He doesn't sleep. He's very loud, which I hear is normal for boys, but he's very loud. It's been really hard learning how to be a parent to him. And when I think about that, and I think about how, if he was our last, how I wish I had enjoyed him more. And that would be a very easy trap to fall in, a very easy place for me to dig a hole and wallow. The truth is that my husband and I did our absolute best with him. And as much as we adore him and love him, I adore our son. He was very hard. And there were a lot of times where I didn't enjoy being around him. I just needed a break from him because he was just hard. And that's okay too. I did my best. I loved him. I loved him so hard and so much, and I gave him everything he needed. I was always there. And he has never wanted for love or affection or anything. He's always been provided for and loved. So he doesn't know the difference. I know that I did the best I could with my emotional and physical resources that I had, and meaning that I was low on sleep and just very, very high alert a lot. My fight and flight was activated a lot with all of the crying and screaming and stuff that he would do, just because he's a hard one to handle. But I wouldn't trade him for anything, and I don't want it to come across that way. But for the moms out there who can resonate with that, with the babies that are just they've got big emotions and big feelings, and they keep us on our toes. It's okay. You did the best you could in those moments when it was just hard and difficult, and you really just wanted to sleep, it's okay. And I know that I'm not going to live in regret thinking that I didn't soak up those moments enough, because I know I did the best I could. And I have been with these kids almost 24/7. So I know that I was with them. I was there. Maybe not always mentally present, but I was always here. Something that has given me a lot of comfort and peace, thinking about whether or not we will have another child, is I don't know if this is just a thought from my head or if God placed it there. Either way, it doesn't matter. It's comforting. I can't help but wonder that if we don't have another child, if there will be ways that God allows me to love on and be a mother to other children out there who need that, who maybe it's my great nieces, maybe it's a child I don't know, maybe it's through ministry or adoption, if that was in our future. I don't know, but I just have this sense that even if I may not physically bear another child, that I will be given the opportunity to love on other children in beautiful ways. And that gives me a lot of peace and hope. It's very comforting to know that God could use me like that. And I'm going to hold on to that, and I'm going to pray for that I will get to be a mother of many and bring love to children who need it. I appreciate y'all listening to me discuss things like this. And, sometimes I worry about whether I'm staying on topic with the show, because it's about fulfilling our God-given calling. It's about developing that and learning what that is. And I think, this doesn't really fall in line with that, but there's two meanings to the name of this show. It's about helping other women find their calling and living out their purpose, but it's also about me living out my calling and my purpose. And I feel that part of that is loving on you, sharing and being vulnerable in my experiences so that you can be better prepared, so that you can take something away, so that you can learn from what I've been through. And when I think of it in that way, then yes, this is very much on topic, because our greatest calling is motherhood. And that is everything. There is no greater calling than raising up our children to love Christ. So with that being said, thank you so much for being here, for listening to me cry. If you have any prayer requests, please feel free to email me at onecalledmama@gmail.com. If you have comments or suggestions, you can leave them in the comments below. Thank you so much for being here today. I really do appreciate you. And I will see you again very soon.